in as we explore the latest news and thrilling matchups. Whether you're a diehard or a casual, this is your destination.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Again, this is Sports Buds TV. My name is Serge, and it's a Friday night. Today is actually May 17th. Quite a bit going on in sports. We're going to get into it. It's going to be a quick show today. And as far as what we're going to get into, we have the NBA playoffs, round two. Of course, we have one team that's already made it to round three, the conference finals, that team being the Celtics. But there's been a few games this week that have led to the two best words in sports, some might say, Game 7. So we'll get into some NBA talk. It's a big week in boxing. Feels like a big week, a big season overall for boxing, I'd say lately. But yeah, we'll talk about the fight with Navarrete, Baranchik going on Saturday, and the big fight that everyone's looking forward to as well with Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury meeting for the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship of the world. So we'll get into those topics today, but I'll go ahead and start us off with the NBA playoffs. What I'll do is I'll put up on the screen here so you can watch along, follow along on the screen, and give you a better idea of the lay of the land so far. As I mentioned to start off there at the beginning of the show, the Boston Celtics, they're penciled in and they're ready to go to start their conference finals in the Eastern Conference, of course. They actually are waiting for Tuesday night to get that tip-off going and make their run, continue their run that they're on. However, before we get to that, we have Saturday and Sunday, today being Friday. And to start off, we'll pick things up with tomorrow's game, Saturday, and we'll see the Thunder taking on the Mavericks in what will be a potential elimination game for the Thunder, the number one seed in the West. Thinking back at the start of this series, I've felt that the Mavericks were going to pull off the win and take the series, but the Thunder didn't just, lay down and say, well, it's a young team, we're learning. They figured we're going to go down swinging, if anything, and they've made it to this point a 3-2, of course, facing elimination now. At this point, since they are the higher seed, we know that Game 6 will be in Dallas, and they'll have to win that game to force a game back at Oklahoma in OKC. I don't think I see that happening. I think Dallas will wrap things up tomorrow night, and they'll get ready for their matchup in the Western Conference Finals. Speaking of which, in the Western Conference Finals, we actually, Thursday night, had the Timberwolves taking on the Denver Nuggets, the defending champion, no less, Denver Nuggets. Again, the matchup you've seen all series long with the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. Nikola Jokic, Rudy Gobert. And as far as this game goes, their Game 6, the Wolves really came out swinging in that first quarter. Yeah, it didn't look too good. They went down, but the coaching staff calls that timeout. I know the head coach is a little banged up, but the staff, they get it together, call timeout, and it wasn't maybe talked about as much, but it was a huge timeout. It stopped that bleeding, the momentum at that time that the Mavs were, that the Nuggets were going on. And as soon as they come back, the Wolves get their stuff together. They're able to go on I forget at the moment at 18, 20 something no run, so they get themselves right back in the thick of it of things. And from that moment on, they didn't look back. They looked just like those T Wolves that we saw in games 1 and 2 up in Denver. So, as I had mentioned, I felt that they had the best chance to force a game 7. This was something I mentioned in just our prior show this week. Don't forget, follow us everywhere at SportsBuds TV, and you can check those clips out. Leave us a comment what you think. But yeah, I had the T Wolves forcing that game 7, winning game 6 at home to force a game 7 in Denver. So now this is where it gets interesting. At this point, it's been an up and down, just unexpected outcome as far as the road team wins the first 4 games. And then we see that the home team takes care of business in the next 2 games. It's game 7. And we have 2 actually on Sunday. But the Timberwolves have competed toe-to-toe with the defending champions. From the beginning of the series, I have picked the Wolves to pull it off. And, at the end of those first 2 games, I'm thinking this is a crazy pick. I actually didn't expect that, and then you kind of come back to earth. But I'm gonna stick with my pick. I think the Wolves will pull it off. I think it'll actually be a close game. Surprisingly enough, I feel the Wolves games that they've won have been these huge blowouts. Whereas as far as the Nuggets games, they've been a bit closer. But I've also felt like the Wolves have just been off as far as shooting. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Sunday. But speaking of which, that'll be the later game. In the earlier game, we'll have the Pacers going into the mecca of basketball as they take on the New York Knicks. And this is quite an interesting situation. Just one interesting situation should definitely, complement another interesting situation. And tonight, Friday night, we saw the Pacers really take care of business at home. And they forced in that game 6, they forced that game 7 so that they keep their season alive. And I just similar to that Denver and Timberwolves pick, I have the Pacers winning this series. At this point, there's no sense in jumping off the bus, if you ask me. So I'm going to stick with them. I'm pretty confident. I hate to see the fact that the Knicks are already kind of shorthanded. A bit of the players, the rosters banged up there, and then today Josh Hart, had to leave, exit the game at a point there. So definitely don't want to see it go down in that way. But with that in mind, we know you have to factor it. I feel that the Pacers definitely have a really good chance to go into New York and pull it off. Now, if you ask me who has a better chance, the Wolves or the Pacers, I'm sticking with the Wolves having the better chance, but the way that injury bug has shaped up, it may be much closer with the Pacers and Knicks. So take that for what it is. Quite a bit to be determined this weekend. We will know who's going to be competing for the conference finals in the West and then in the East as well. The Celtics are waiting for their matchup, and so are we. So is the rest of the sports world. So looking forward to Saturday, looking forward to Sunday. It's been said here before, it's been said elsewhere, and you'll hear it much more as we get closer to it. But it is, for some people, the best 2 words in all of sports. Game 7. Can't wait for it. That's been the NBA playoff talk. Don't forget to follow us again at SportsBuds TV. You'll find us everywhere. And we'll go ahead and move along here. In fact, it's a big weekend, Saturday, because of the heavyweight fight being in Saudi, right? That time difference. But let me go ahead and pull up some stuff here for the screen. To start off, we'll see Navarrete versus Barenchek. That was mentioned there at the top of the show. And this is for the lightweight championship. That'll be on the line for the 135 division. And it is by Top Rank. Watch it on ESPN. But this is interesting. And we've talked about Lomachenko. We've talked about Tank recently on this show, on this podcast. And just, and even William Cepeda. Just overall how that 135 division is shaping up. Shakur Stevenson, no se puede olvidar, right? You got to mention him as well. So overall, it's an exciting division. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow night with Navarrete Berenchek and just see who stays within that division, striking distance to make those big fights happen. However, the biggest fight going on, literally, figuratively, is going to have to be the Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, undisputed heavyweight world championship fight. And it is exciting times. In fact, today we had the weigh-in, right? They're heavyweight, so they don't necessarily have to make a certain weight, but it's still very interesting to see how they're weighing in, how they're looking. We've seen Tyson look slimmed down compared to, if we just rewind to the Ngannou fight that took place, right? So, we have that we can consider. Then we look at Alexander Usyk, who looks a bit bigger than his past fights, the Dubois fight. So it's just an interesting, whether or not they have to make a certain weight. Just interesting to see how they come prepared to face that scale, what their approach was. And then we get the final face-off between these two. And it's the last time they'll be face-to-face before they're actually inside of the ring, getting their instructions and hearing that bell ring so that they can go face each other for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. I want to show a few clips that I've got here from the weigh-in. Let me go ahead and play that now for us, and we'll go from there. Here's the first one, which is the actual weigh-in. Right after it, the little face-off we see between the two, and we'll get a better idea of that interaction. Thereafter, we'll listen to what the fighters had to say after the weigh-in, but we'll go ahead and just move along accordingly there. So let's play the first one for y'all. There you have it. So immediately you see Tyson Fury. They kind of look at the cameras, the media, give that sort of image, right? Capture that for everyone's thumbnails, what have you. But as soon as it is time, they have to face off. You see Tyson make a direct beeline and gets in Usyk's face. Alexander does not back down. He stands right up to the giant that is Tyson Fury. And Usyk is no small man. I mean, if you compare him, he's over 6 feet tall. And, he's not a giant by any means, but he's not what we would consider a short man, at least by, standards in the States. Then we see Tyson just try to impose more of his size and even pushes Alexander, not to, hurt him per se, but just to let him know and give him an idea of what he's going to be up against. Alexander does not seem phased at that point. They still are changing some words back and forth. And then we get a sight where, Alexander goes to the media right after you see him on stage still, kind of letting you know he's here for the fight. He's not backing down. Tyson can do whatever he wants. He's still going to stick to the game plan overall. But don't take that from my words. Let's actually hear what the unified heavyweight champion of the world had to say. And Alexander Usyk, all this media that we're getting here is brought to you by either Top Rank or through their their social media or through their YouTube channel. So make sure you give them a follow. They're always good to give this promotion and just be able to take in that weigh in. So let's go ahead and play the Alexander Usyk words there right after, so that we can hear from him exactly, right, his thoughts.
Humble, what did you just say to Tyson Fury?
Don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone tomorrow.
You told everyone that your father was your inspiration growing up. If he were here right now, before the biggest fight of your life, what advice do you think your dad would give you?
Son, you can.
Well, we're 24 hours away from the biggest fight of your life. How have you managed to stay so calm before what is sure to be an unbelievable fight?
Because it's my plan. If I will be nervous, I not win.
What is your message to the fans watching you around the world, especially those in your war-torn country of the Ukraine?
My fans, I love you. See you tomorrow.
Give it up, everybody. Alexander Usyk.
And there you have it. From the words of the man himself, Alexander Usyk, letting us know his feelings towards his fans, his following, showing the love that he has for his people, but also admitting his father would have faith in him, and he has faith in himself. It comes off cool, calm, collected, not fazed by the moment. Tyson Fury trying to impose himself on stage, his size. Definitely looks like he's prime set, ready to go for the fight. Now, the other side of that coin is the Gypsy King, the WBC and lineal heavyweight champion of the world. Let's go ahead and hear from the man himself. We saw, the way he approached that final face-off, the bit of a push shove, whatever you want to call it. But let's hear from the man himself and his thoughts right after facing off for the final time before they meet in the ring.
What are you thinking after that face-off just now?
We're ready to rock and roll, Fireworks tomorrow night. I'm going to knock this little fucker spark out.
Looking to make history tomorrow night. We're going to see the first undisputed heavyweight champion of our generation, the first one in 25 years. In the past, you've said belts don't matter, defending belts don't matter. This one's got to matter, right?
I'm coming for his heart. That's what I'm coming for. Fuck his belts. I'm coming for his fucking heart. He's getting it tomorrow. Spark out! Fuck him!
Any final
Fuck
words?
all his team too. Fuck the lot of them. They can all get it if they want it to. Shit.
Wow. So there's Tyson Fury. And he's letting everyone know, pardon, his French, but he's letting everyone know that he is here for all that smoke. Tyson Fury may just be pissed off right now for greatness. The man has accomplished just about everything you can. Defeated, some of the great champions of his time. Clearly has stamped his name, and he'll have to be remembered as for his era one of the best. However, if he is able to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, then that really helps solidify everything that I just mentioned. Right now, it could still be looked at, different things, maybe, not fighting AJ, not being able to have that fight at this point in time, and instead having the Usyk fight. But all things aside, becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, it hasn't been done in 20, 25 years, nearly 30 years since we've had an undisputed heavyweight champion. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the first one in the 4-belt era. And then you throw in the Ring Lineal Magazine Championship. It's just, when we talk about for all the marbles, this is what for all the marbles really means. Alexander Usyk, not to be, looked looked over. The man has already become undisputed at the cruiserweight division at his time there campaigning as a cruiserweight. He has then stepped up and fought heavyweights, beat Anthony Joshua 12, met him in the ring 12 rounds twice, a total of 24 rounds. And at the end of those fights, each time he got his hand raised as the champion, as the winner. And he's just accomplished some insane things: Olympic gold medal, undisputed cruiserweight championship, unified heavyweight championship, and tomorrow night he has a chance to become undisputed heavyweight champion, become undisputed in 2 weight divisions, things that we've seen Naoya Inoue do, Terrence Bud Crawford do, and he could actually put his name in that hat as well. And others, Clarissa Shields and the women's side of boxing. So definitely a huge night for boxing overall, but it's a huge night for the heavyweights. It's a division that beckons, right, for all those eyes, and we'll see. Finally, there were times I've heard it said before, people have mentioned it, where you could ask somebody who's the heavyweight boxing champion of the world, and they could tell you, this guy has the 1, the 2, the 3 bouts, and that makes him the man. But we haven't had that in nearly 30 years, 20, 30, a good window there where we haven't been able to look up and say, well, who's the real heavyweight champion of the world? And barring we get a draw, a no contest, what have you, barring we don't get an actual decision result, we will have that undisputed champion that we can, by the time we rest our heads and get ready for sleep tomorrow and then wake up Sunday morning, be able to say, that man is the heavyweight champion of the world, bar none. No other to lay claim to that throne. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. It is a big night. Remember, that is 2 fights that we're getting, actually, main events. Later on, we'll see the Navarrete-Baranchyk fight, but earlier from Saudi. You don't want to miss it. It is Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for all the marbles, the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world will be on the line. My name is Serge. This has been Sports Buds TV. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all platforms. You can find us at Sports Buds TV everywhere. That's it for today. It's just a quick one. We wanted to kind of get into that NBA playoffs, and we'll follow along here in the next episode. You'll catch that next week. More than likely it'll be out. But definitely wanted to talk about that face-off after the weigh-in, and can't wait, because after this weekend, things will be looking a lot different in both the NBA and in boxing. And, of course, the NFL, that never sleeps, so we'll have more on it. Keep it here. This has been Sports Buds TV. Y'all be good.
Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the latest episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. See you on the next one.